My name is Lukas Tobler and I'm a Reconnective Healing practitioner and instructor. And I came across Reconnective Healing and the frequencies of Reconnective Healing in 2009. And many things have shifted in my own life. But I think the first one that I noticed was really my level of awareness really changing. I used to be very much focused on the external world, very, very distraught and just very unbalanced on the inside. And when I started to interact with Reconnective Healing, what I noticed is that there was a sense of connection, a sense of really belonging, and also a sense of coming home. Coming home within me, Lukas. And what happened was that I just started to perceive the outside world way differently. It was as if I just sort of woke up, or it was a sort of remembering where I really came from and that we are all interconnected. What everybody always talks about, we're always interconnected. But I really started to feel it, and that was such an amazing feeling. And with the shifting or the growing awareness and consciousness that I received as a result of starting to interact and continuing to interact with Reconnective Healing, led to further changes in my own life. I never really knew why I was here. I just knew that certain things that I did definitely wouldn't work out in the long run, but I didn't really have anything else in mind. And all of a sudden I was there, sitting in front of cameras and recording videos. I was talking on big stages in front of people, helping teach this great work. And all of these things would not have been possible because my self-esteem just wasn't great. It was just not at a place where I was even eager or wanting to present myself in public. But all of a sudden, there was this sense of purpose, as almost like a pulling, or a being drawn into a totally new direction, a direction that I know of today is really my purpose. And I attribute a lot to really just being in the frequencies and interacting with them on a daily basis, because Reconnective Healing is a part of us. It's a part of everybody who really wants to and decides to start to interact with them and to sort of remember them, or maybe also just becoming aware of them for him or herself. The other thing that I noticed was that when I use Reconnective Healing in my daily life, things are just elevated to a whole new level. For instance, I've been meditating for many years and I'm still meditating today. And the only difference is that today when I meditate, you can't really get the frequencies out of the way. And I remember people saying, well, but hey, I try to meditate, but the moment I begin, there they are, the frequencies. And I go, yes, that's normal because they're part of you. And for me, it's very amazing because the moment you sit down and you try to meditate, there you have them, the frequencies. And for me, a whole new sphere or level of awareness opens up. And I just noticed how much I'm centered right away. I notice how my vertebrae are just being, put back in place, and how I can breathe more freely, how I'm just more present in the moment, which is a great gift, and just so calm on the inside. And that's one thing that I did not know. I used to always worry about things and think about different scenarios, and I felt bad about myself. And I certainly did not think very highly of myself. And on the inside, I didn't have this serenity, this quietude or this calmness. It was almost like a storm. It was almost, raging on, and thoughts and turbulences. It was just very distraught, the way I felt inside. And as soon as I started to interact with Reconnective Healing, and the longer I do, I just noticed there's this absolute silence and peace inside of myself. And this is for me the greatest gift ever. And I always say, if I've really achieved and reached one thing in my life, it is inner peace. That one I've just reached, and I haven't had it, but I know what it feels like. I know how to get it, and being in the frequencies and just using and interacting with the frequencies really is a big part of generating it on each and every single day. The other thing that I do with the frequencies personally in my own life is that I use them for sports. You know, when I go and do my workouts, I just quickly go into the frequencies before doing my workout, and I notice that I'm just so focused, almost like being in a flow state. You know, a lot of the sports men or the athletes know that being in a perfect state is crucial to really moving up to the next level of your performance. And I'm using Reconnective Healing, and it's beautiful just to see how you're so much more, you know, strong. You're just so much more focused, and in the end, you know, after the workout, we all know that the workout itself wears you out. I'm using the frequencies to recuperate, to regenerate, and it's beautiful just as a way of being centered and, you know, sort of getting back into your power and being ready for the next workout. It's beautiful. So I'm using it again also for that a lot. And then of course, you know, there's all different kinds of areas in my life where the frequencies are, and basically they are wherever I am because they're not separated from us. So another thing that I notice is that when I go to sleep, and I luckily don't have a hard time falling asleep, nor did I ever have any problem sleeping. And when I'm going to bed, and I don't do it all the time, but you know, sometimes I remember, sometimes I forget, I'm just, you know, going and feeling into the frequencies before I nod off to sleep. And it's such a different quality of sleep, such a different experience of sleep when you go to sleep entering the frequencies. It's just amazing. And for me, it's just wow. It feels so light, and there is this wit that comes with the frequencies, and I love that one because I used to be a little serious here and there, and now I just feel so joyful and I just, you know, also playful, and it's almost like coming home. It's almost like, you know, going back to that state where you were a child and everything was just sort of like, I'm happy, but I don't even know why, happy for no reason. And so it's just a very joyful and a very connected essence that I'm feeling within, and that certainly also finds its ways on the outside through my expressions. Lastly, and this one is a big one for me, I really found my place in my own life through Reconnective Healing, but I also found my love. And we met at a seminar in Salzburg in 2012, and at the time I was already a practitioner, but Alma wasn't. And she took the seminar, and we ended up, you know, starting a relationship, and it's just such a beautiful relationship. We still have ups and downs, but what we notice is that there's just a higher level of consciousness and awareness that carries us through these rough times. And for me personally, that's really the greatest gift. I always knew that, you know, many things in my life are going into the right direction, but I always knew that the relationship just wasn't 100%. And I always believed that there is 100%. And I'm so happy to say that I found my 100%. And I'm just seeing that Reconnective Healing and being in these frequencies, you know, consciously or sometimes not so consciously, just helps tremendously. Yes, there are still valleys and there are still, you know, ups in our lives, but what I notice for myself is that as soon as you hit bottoms, or, you know, something is just sort of unexpected, and you go and just sort of observe and be present with the situation within the frequencies, it's a totally different situation and story. It's as if you're just being lifted out of this valley. You can't even stay, you know, in this valley for very long because the frequencies just lift you out. Yes, there might still be work, and you might still have to deal with the issue, and it might still be uncomfortable. It might still stretch you because that's part of life, I believe. But it's just in a different in a different state, and your perspective shifts. And that's what I love about Reconnective Healing. I strongly believe that Reconnective Healing really is something that everybody should at least experience once in his or her lifetime, because it is amazing. It shifts you, and I'm a living example of this, and I attribute so much to Reconnective Healing and using the frequencies on a daily basis that I just wish for everybody, hey, why not use this great gift? It's here for us, but we have to discover it, and it's our free will whether or not we're going to interact with it or not.